I am finally thrilled to end this plenary session. What's this? Huh? Oh, with another, that's not how I meant it. With another giant of integrative medicine, my predecessor, the former and founding director of the Osher Center, Dr. David Eisenberg, who will give out the award for Best Poster. Dr. Eisenberg's pioneering work on the widespread use of CAM therapies provided a foundation for the field of integrative medicine as a whole, including the wonderfully vibrant integrative medicine research network displayed in the presentations and posters that we saw today. Thank you.
Well, this is quite a special honor and delight. It's I celebrate what Michelle Middleman said. It's sort of a cross between a regional historic event and a family reunion, so thank you. Well, my first job is to announce the winner of the abstract award, and the award goes to Gail DeBard, Mass General Hospital, for her project Longitudinal Changes in Brain Structure After 2 Different 8-Week Meditation Training Programs. Gail?
Thank you. We haven't scripted this part yet. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm just curious, how many here consider themselves either trainees or young investigators? It's a good number, good. Hélène invited me to make a comment or two, so I choose to do so. Both are really inspired by a Chinese anonymous saying that many people who I've worked with in this room know very well, which is, whenever we drink the water, I break up, we have to remember who dug the well. So I want to reflect on 2 elements that are invisible here, but very visible to people who've been in the field for a long time. One is a word of challenge to the trainees, and the other is a word of shared gratitude. So first, it's worth reflecting on the fact that 30 or 40 years ago, a few very courageous people in this town, and they all know who they are, and many of them have been in this room today, took it upon themselves to ask some fundamental questions about the nature, utility, and value proposition of the other medicines, you know, the non-conventional medicines, what became CAM. Our questions at the time were provocative and viewed as incendiary by many. And when you think about it, we went about this in the era of, or I should say the pre-internet, pre-MRI, pre-genomic era. Our tools were relatively primitive, but we began. But that was then and this is now, and I speak now to the next generation. I encourage you to ask the next provocative, incendiary questions. Have that courage. Don't ask incremental questions. They won't change the world. I think 30 years from now, you will be amazed, as I have been today, at how a combination of a shift in scientific methods and a shared resolve, and Boston has an extraordinary shared resolve to move the ball up the field. We're in a marathon, not an individual race, and we have to hand the baton to one another. but do have the courage to ask. And secondarily, don't be afraid. I would argue in the positively, reach out to people from disciplines other than your own who do not speak your language, but share the same common questions. You'll enjoy it. And you have a lot of friends here in Boston. Collectively, you will dig the well for the next to come 30 years hence. Second, forgive me, this is more important. I'd like to publicly acknowledge the Bernard Osher Foundation, and particularly Barney Osher and Barbara Osher, who I had the pleasure of meeting in the 1990s, and without whom the infrastructure of so much we have benefited from, everyone in this room, would have been completely unimaginable. So you need to know that. In the late 1990s, Barney Osher, pretty much individually and with the help of some wonderful friends and advisors, made the determination that this fledgling field of CAM, and now it has merged beyond integrative medicine to an aspiration of integrative health, which I find so refreshing. And he said it would benefit from the stewardship of excellent institutions and people who knew the rules of scientific inquiry, and also educators and policymakers, if it was really going to have a substantive impact on the way health care, meaning medical care, is delivered, and the way health is perceived by generations to come. He made that decision. He invested a fortune. It was Barney's extraordinary generosity and foresight that enabled so many in the Boston area and elsewhere throughout the United States and the world to methodically apply the rules of scientific inquiry, to test our hypotheses about the ways, number one, to treat and manage disease and human suffering on the one hand, and number two, to help people optimize their health and joyful living on the other. We are all beneficiaries of the Osher Foundation's extraordinary investment in this area, and I salute them on our collective behalf. Thank you all.